Answer on this one should be D. Answer on this one is B. Answer on this one is C. Answer on this one is A. Pick a number from 1 to 20. The winning numbers are 6, 12, 15, 17, 19. The objective is to add, subtract, or multiply a 2 by 2 matrix. Here's an example. In this case, you're adding them together. This is the easiest one. Actually, I need a yellow marker. There we go. Okay. If you're going to add these together, in order to add them, they have to be the same dimension. So if the first one is 2 by 2 and the second one is 2 by 2, then you can add them together. Add by adding the same elements in the same spots in each one. So 3 plus a negative 2 would be 1. And your answer matrix will have the same dimension. Then, and you can do these in any order, but I'll go here. So if I'm going to add 2 with something, what am I adding it with? 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And then up here, I'll put a box on this one. What do I add the negative 6 with? With 3. So negative 6 plus 3 would be negative 3. And then the last one, I'll put a triangle. 2 plus a negative 2 is 0. So it goes in that spot. On example 2, you're going to subtract, and you do it the same way as you did adding. You match up the spots and then do the operation. So for this one, it would be negative 3 minus 2. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. And the one right below it, 11 plus 1, or not plus 1, but minus 1, would be 10. If we go to the 5, I'll put a triangle around that. 5 minus a negative 6 is 11. Double negative. And negative 3 minus 4 would be negative 7. Alright, on this one we should have 2 minus 4, which is negative 2, and negative 6 minus a negative 3 is going to be negative 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2, and 9 minus 11 is negative 2. For this one, you should have negative 4 plus a negative 6, which is negative 10. 13 plus a negative 2 is 11. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3, and negative 1 plus 4 is 3. In this case, you have to multiply the 2 by 2 matrices. They don't have to be the same dimension, but we're not doing different dimensions yet. We're going to practice with ones that are just 2 by 2. To multiply, you're going to have to do 4 different sets of essentially order of operations problems and then get your answers into one matrix. What you'll do first is multiply this row by this column. And the way you do that is by multiplying the negative 3 by the 7. Negative 3 times 7. And then add to that 6 times 4. So the first element in that row times the first element in the other column. And then the second elements of each times each other. And you can go ahead and work that out. That's a negative 21 plus 24 which would give you an answer of 3. So down here at the bottom, we'll start making the answer matrix, and it's 3 that goes in that spot because you're multiplying row 1 by column 1. And notice this is row 1, row 2. This is column 1, column 2. So whatever pattern you use, that's where the answer is going to go in the answer matrix. Now stay with the first row in the first matrix. So you're still going to use this one, but multiply it against that second column. So you would have the negative 3 times 2, and then the 6 times 3. That first element in the first row, negative 3, multiply it by this 2. So this times this, and then the 6 times the 3. That's what we've done here. You add them together. And that would be a negative 6 plus 18, which is 12. So 12 would go there because we've multiplied row 1 by column 2. So down here in the answer matrix, there's row 1 and column 2. That's where the answer goes. So before we go on, we got this 3 here in the answer matrix from doing this row times this column. And it's negative 3 times 7 plus 6 times 4. It's always going to be plus in the middle. And then we went to the same row again, but this time this column. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. Add those together to get 12. Since that was row 1 and column 2, that's why the answer goes to row 1, column 2. Alright, so then you do the same thing all over again, except you use the second row, and now you want the first column. So that would be 5 times 7, and then plus 2 times 4. That's 35 plus 8, which is 43. And that goes down in row 2, column 1, because we multiplied row 2 by column 1. 5 times 7 and 2 times 4. 35 plus 8 is 43. And then finish it off by staying with that second row and then multiplying by the second column. So that one is 5 times 2 and plus 2 times 3. That would be 10 plus 6, which is 16. So since we did row 2, column 2, the answer goes in row 2, column 2, 16. For this problem, you should start with 4 times 8 and then plus 3 times a negative 1, which is 32, and it turns out to be minus 3 because plus a negative. So that's a 29, and you would have a 29 in this spot in your answer matrix. How many are still good so far? Got 29. All right. So now the same row, we're still going to do this one. We just did this one and this one. So we're going to stay with this one and then go do this one. That one should be 4 times 2 and then plus 3 times 3. And that one is going to be 8 plus 9, which is 17. 17 goes there because we did this and this. Anybody have 27 and 19? She still does. Alright, so now we're going to move to the bottom row and then this column. So with that, you should have negative 6 times 8 plus 2 times a negative 1, which is negative 48 minus 2 That's a negative 50, which would go here. Are you still good? All right. And then to finish it off, we're going to do this row and this column. So that would be negative 6 times 2 plus 2 times 3. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. I'm going to multiply the first row by the first column and then by the second column. So that'll give me the top two answers in the matrix. That's going to be 2 times a negative 2 plus 3 times 6, which is negative 4 plus 18. That will be a 14 in this spot. The next one we're finding goes here. That's why we're going to do that first row and then the second column. 2 times 3 plus 3 times 8. And that will be a 6 plus 24. That should be a 30. Anybody still good? Okay. Now we're going to go to the second row and then do the first column and the second column again. So this is going to give us 4 times negative 2 plus 7 times 6. That's a negative 8 plus 42, which is 34. That goes here. And now for your last spot here, it's going to be the second row and then times this column over here. 4 times 3 plus 7 times 8. That is 12 plus 56, which is 68.
Hey, can you send that to me? I'll look at that and